Hey guys, welcome back to Festival Insider Podcast. I'm Emma Kapotes.
I'm Michael Julian.
What is up, you guys? Happy Tuesday. Today, you've just got us. It's just the two of us. We're doing another solo episode, and this is going to be a really, really interesting topic, one that MJ and I are both passionate about, but I think coming at it from two different perspectives, which is really cool. But MJ, do you want to talk a little bit about why we decided to do this episode and talk about house music today?
Yeah, so, we're going to freestyle a little bit here. And the purpose of all of this is to talk about house music from two different views of mine and Emma's. We did not compare notes. Well, I don't make any notes, but if I would, I wouldn't compare for this one because we want to get to this conversation. And, the purpose is highlight some artists, highlight some labels and their growth, and just talk about where's house music now, especially in North America, right? And, it's been a really fun times to see the house music grow, but also it's created, I feel like, some lines that are separating different tribes and different styles. And so that's another interesting conversation. And I know, Emma, you have a lot of awesome things to talk about, and I don't really know how to structure it well. So let me just kick off. I've been very, very fortunate and lucky to be a part of a lot of house music events and brands. And what I'm really, really, happy that has happened in my life is I was able to work with great promoters from Europe to bring their brands into America. And so as a result, I have worked with Awakenings. We've brought Awakening stage to Electric Zoo. I've done a standalone show with Rocco in Manhattan. We worked with Time Warp. We were involved in the second edition in Brooklyn, which was epic. Their last one was great as well. I was no longer involved, but the guys did great, and I'm very happy for them. We've seen a lot of transitions, back in the days. I was very lucky to work with Mike and Laura, who have launched Sunday School for Degenerates, which was like a closing party at WMC, super epic. All the house music fans know it. And, between this and everything else in between, I just been, always there. And most recently have a journey with Elro family as we are bringing the brand in North America, and that's been so much fun. And the one thing about Elro is like just so much music that I didn't even know before, like so many new artists. Our lineups are deeper, and we do more shows. It's not once a year. We do a lot of Elros. In 2019, I think in States we did like 20 of them. So I'm getting to learn new artists, but while I'm very happy that house music is growing, I also see people having this misconception that house music is something very specific. And this is where I think this conversation should kick off between you and I. So what's house music, Emma? Like, what's your house music like?
I would say, well, yeah, it depends on the subgenre, because I think we listen to a different type of house music, but that's a good thing. So I just think it's anything that's really uplifting, makes you feel good, makes me dance. I really like bass house. I'm personally a big fan of that. And then I would say, as of more recently, have been getting into tech house, because that seems to be the new really trendy subgenre of house music. But I'm a big fan of like Eric Prydz, Oliver Heldens, Chris Lake. I love, and then Sonny Fodera, Dom Dalla, like all those guys, Chami. Yeah, I like all of those guys. But my intro to house music, I guess, was Big Room, like back in 2012, 2013. Like that's when I was first getting really into everything. But that's the house music I think of. Yours is very different.
And so would you believe me if I told you that at least in North America, if not all, practically majority of the names you've just listed, there's a massive amount of house music fans, black shirts.
Yep.
that would just say, oh yeah, that's really not kind of house music. It kind of is, but it's not what we consider house music. Literally, basically all the names you have mentioned. And
Yep.
of course, they would be wrong to say that, but it's here. And this is where I think this conversation is coming from. You know, I think that right now, house music is becoming a mainstream festival music. If you look at the lineups in North America, and again, we're talking North America right now, right?
Right.
If you look at the lineups, more and more lineups have more of the house talent than anything else. And then for the past 2-3 years, you've kind of seen this transition where Tiesto at Electric Zoo on the main stage had played Bart's and Adams Losing Your Mind in the middle of his set, like just awkwardly. And like, you know, why? Well, because obviously he likes the track and because he thinks that the fans want to hear it. And you know, he's right. But this is where all of this conversation comes from. You know, how does it work, and why, if it's house music, there's so many different tribes that kind of follow a specific sound and not yet accept it as one, you know? And I've been waiting for festivals to bring it all together. And so now we're seeing lineups of festivals like ARC right now in Chicago, where it's both of the worlds, right? It's really mixed in. And, you know, for me, there's just so much to talk about. I don't even know where to begin. Obviously, Fisher. You know, Fisher jumps in and does that set at Coachella. What was it, 2018, I want to say?
Yeah, but it wasn't that long ago.
Plays Losing It and just goes viral, on fire, catches love from everyone. And that's, believe it or not, an entrance to house music to a whole lot of fans. You know, Fisher, by the way, plays incredible house music sets, proper house music sets all the time. And so I think that's good for the community, for house music, that Fisher comes in. Chris Lake, you know, a great artist,
Love
played
him.
proper house music for years. I remember him, we used to book him, kind of goes off the grid for years and years and comes back with this new sound, like that is winning hearts all over this continent and probably everywhere else in the world as well. But you're not going to see Chris Lake playing Circle Loco right now. Like you know, he's not playing Cocoon with Sven Väth, right? So it's still two different worlds, you know. Then there's Elro, of course, and in this country at least, we've kept Elro to a very Ibiza sound. You know, we haven't really gotten much of the names that you've listed yet, but we realize that this is all one, and we are opening doors and we're welcoming people, and you know, we want to entertain people like we're supposed to, and not start considering politics and who plays with whom and how that works, right?
Right. It's interesting.
Anjuna Deep is like one of my, as you know, one of my favorite examples is Anjuna Deep. It's a story of a label that was small quality music. You know, I don't know, it's probably wrong to say it was a passion project, but like in reality, it probably was. And just one day, just blows up. Why? Because the talent that it has gathered to the label just all blew up. That sound blew up, and I couldn't be happier for these guys. Like, God bless them. They're selling more. Anjuna Deep sells more tickets than Anjuna Beats. I mean, you say that 6 years ago, even 5 years ago, who's going to believe you? It just, I think that's a really great example of showing what's happening to the sound.
That
here.
core audience is so passionate. Yep. Totally agree with you.
Well, you know, the old school guys, and sorry, I'm just going to go on a ramp and I'm going to be gone, and so you, but like
No.
old school guys, you know, like, and I know we're going to catch back on it, like Little Vega, like, you know, with Masters at Work and their label, but so many other old school house music guys are getting back at it because the sound is popular. The proper sound is coming back. You know, you have Nora and Pure doing crazy numbers at the shows, playing that melodic sound that's, you know, kind of define her own sound, right? And again, she doesn't play Afterlife, right? although there's a lot of similarity to the sound, it's just different. It's just so many styles there to kind of notice. And Vegas is welcoming house music with Art of the Wild, weekends that feature Paradise and Black Coffee, and Elro is there, Rumors is there, and just it's phenomenal. And what's happening? City Fox came to New York. I don't know how many years they've made the entrance. I don't want to guess. 6, 7. I don't remember now. Maybe more. And European promoter just saw an opportunity and started doing underground warehouse parties in Brooklyn and completely saved New York club scene as far as I'm concerned, because it was dying. Brought it back, brought the production back. A lot of credit to them. A very specific story I have that's really interesting and kind of really fits into all of this is Carnage. Luis Diaz, who was a talent buyer at Space Miami and now is a director of music at Pacha globally, called me up one day when we were in Amsterdam, said, "Hey, I'm coming with Carnage and the whole crew to Awakenings." And I was like, "Carnage likes Awakenings? I didn't know he likes house music." A long story short, they come in, I welcomed them with open arms. I love Carnage, we've always booked him at our festival. He's a great guy, by the way. But he's been having some beefs, I think with Layback Luke or something. I don't remember what the story was.
He's had quite a few.
Yeah, but, between the house music and that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm kind of listening to him with like a grain of salt, and, I don't know if to believe him or not. But dude, we speak for 2 hours at Awakenings. And I'm looking in this guy's eyes and I'm like, he's serious. This is someone who is really passionate about house music.
Right.
And this is someone who wants to make and play house music. And he wants to contribute for house music scene in North America to grow. I mean, he's telling me all the stories. He's doing production. We go on the DJ booth and he sees Awakenings indoor for the first time. He just like lights up,
That's awesome.
And since then, I've seen him. We've met each other at Circa Loco. He's come to Elro, a lot of underground parties when we do stuff in Vegas, after party at Carnage's playing house. This has been going on for years now. So this Gordo that you're seeing now didn't just come out of nowhere because Carnage thought house music was cool. He's been busting his ass and earning the respect, and he's got the respect of the artists. I can tell you. Everyone, house music world, underground, not underground, welcomed him, rightfully so, and I'm a big supporter as well. But still, at least in North America and globally, there's that disconnect. Like, oh yeah, but it's Carnage, but why does it matter?
Right.
What his other style is, or what he's done until this point. Why does it matter? We are supposed to be united. This is not politics. We open the doors, we rave together, we dance together. Since when are we separating what house music is proper and what house music is not proper? Who's the judge
can play it? Yeah,
to make that call? Like, who is that? Who is to say that Nora and Pure Sound versus like Tale of Us Sound? Who is to judge? Like, they both have fans. They're all great in different ways. And one has more following in North America and the other in Europe. But it's all house music. And I think it's time for everyone to just embrace it and to understand that house music should have no boundaries. None.
Right.
No artist of house music is doing it to get famous, or rich. They're doing it because this is the music they love and they want to make people dance. That's how I see it.
Yep. I agree. I'm glad you said that about Carnage, because that timeline I think is really helpful, because I did see the other side. I know this past weekend there was Abduction Festival in Florida and Diplo back-to-back Gordo was an after party. And I think a lot of people were like, what? I don't understand. Like, I never imagined seeing.
They've played before. They've played Space, I think, for like 10 hours. It was a really good set. Everyone, I mean, I wasn't there, but everyone said it was cool. Diplo, shout out to Diplo. Higher Ground, right? That's the label name.
Yep.
I mean, the guy's been pushing it, and not for nothing. Diplo's Revolution on Sirius Radio. Okay, they can get music a little bit more up to date sometimes. But for the North American, they're proper educating the fans of great house music. So shout out to them too. Great job, guys.
Yep.
Honestly.
Yep. Yeah, there's a couple people we had written down that we wanted to talk about today, but I wanted to go back to, we said this with Yaron when he came on, that it comes down to education, because I do think that that's what the point of this podcast is, which is why this will hopefully be a really educational video podcast for people who are just getting into it or are kind of in my situation where they're ready to learn more. And there's so many people that you've been exposed to because you've traveled internationally and gone to all these amazing shows. Versus myself, I've just been in North America. So a lot of the names I mentioned are a little bit more mainstream, but I think the education part of it, which is what we're hoping to do here, will open people's eyes to all of these incredible artists and labels that are global.
Totally. And I think me and you should do more of it. I think today should be like highlighting, spotlighting some of these guys and ladies and event brands and festivals who deserves mentions. And again, you know, look, we are blessed to have an audience from all around the world. The reason why I keep mentioning North America is just because I am not certain how big this disconnect is in Europe. So I don't want to be speaking on something I'm not 100% sure, Right. So perhaps our European family can relate to the same. We're going to talk about that more and we'll bring some guests. Let's invite Victor from Elro, see what he thinks. Let's invite some friends over and talk about it. But today we are a bit more focused on North American audiences.
Yep. And even look at our last two episodes. So we had Dombresky on last week, who is doing amazing things. And then we had Sophie Tucker the week before. Yeah. Completely different, but still, having a lot of success with what they're doing.
I was just speaking to Gianfranco here from Disco Lab the other day, and he was like, if we have Gordon City, Sophie Tucker, and John Summit together, what would be an order in which they would bring the most energy? And I'm like, but can you really go wrong?
Yeah, that's amazing, yeah.
But we're talking about Sophie Tucker in context of house music. This is good stuff, Yeah. I mean, they did some set yesterday. I don't know if you caught it. They were driving on the truck. Dude, really? I was walking yesterday. I was like, this is fire music.
That's awesome.
That's not underground and it's not melodic. It's another style, their own style. And I love it. This is making me happy.
It's so good. And I mean, so they've been killing the live streams, but we also wanted to talk about, you've also had people like Desert Hearts with weekly streams and Dirty Bird with weekly streams, all playing house music, which is incredible. So
All Day Dream. I mean, a lot of brands are doing it. Yeah, big shout out to Desert Hearts. What they've done is absolutely incredible on Twitch. And honestly, it's all about just their dedication. The pandemic started and they went to do what they do, which is play music for people. And it caught up. Good for them. I also, it's another thing. Like, I only know of them from few friends from New York who would go to their festivals. And then one day it was like, hey, it's time to meet. And, we've met with some of them. First of all, great people, great, humbled vision. And then, we've invited them to do Elro with us in New York. We had a stage with them. And I was just beyond impressed of the crowd and vibes. And I went back to them. I said, guys, you are welcome to do Elro with us anytime. But you know what? You should really know that you will be in position to do your own shows and we'll be in full support. Bring that style of music, bring this to New York, bring this to other cities. You have a real brand. And I think now pandemic for them opened the door. And I think when the events will open up, this will be one of the biggest, American house music brand. Factory 93. I mean, Insomniac has been killing it. I mean, look at the streams. It's like, Dombresky, LP Joby. Again, it's like, it's that sound where it's like, people have confusion, but what's the confusion about? Did you hear LP Joby's sets? Like Dombresky too.
Sounds good. That's all that matters.
Yes.
Yep. So some record labels we should talk about too, because I wrote this down. I think It's interesting to point out. So Dead Mouse has obviously has Mousetrap, but this year they opened House Trap, which I was so excited to see. And the first single was with Tommy Trash that I'm completely obsessed with. But I think even seeing things like that starting to happen is like, oh, interesting. I didn't picture Dead Mouse going down this road, but very excited about it.
Mouse loves techno. I mean, they
Yeah.
just him and Eric played Electric Zoo a few years ago to close. I mean, what
That
do
was
you call that
awesome.
set? That was like an underground house set. He didn't have a
Yep.
a head on
Yep.
head, right? Did I say head?
Yeah. Totally. Yep. And I mean, I really love Solardo's label, Sola. I'm a big fan of that. Insomniac Records, Tech Records. Like there's so many incredible, and again, Night Bass, I'm a big fan of with Bass House, but
Also, Nightbase doing it for a while. Was the AC Slater, right?
Yep.
Slowly building. I mean, those guys like Wax Motif is on the rise right now.
So good.
Distractor, has been doing that sound for a long time. I mean, like, I don't want to give any shout outs because I'm gonna miss everyone. There's
I
just
know,
so
yeah.
many people these days, but I gotta tell you, it's exciting. I can totally see American festivals, all house. And I like Arc in Chicago right now.
I know. Let's talk about that.
This is the type of lineups. And when Electric Zoo just launched, we were like 1 year before the EDM bubble, just like, And I remember Seth Roxler opening up a main stage. Think about it. Electric Zoo, New York.
That's crazy.
Seth Roxler doing an opening set at the main stage, And I think Steve Aoki playing this tiny little stage for like super underground, whatever that sound was referred to that day. It's like sound evolves. We've seen this transition again, like Alesso playing a lot of deep house sets, Martin Garrix trying to do pop-up sets, playing house music for a couple of years now. Excuse me.
Yep. We're excited.
And I feel like, this resistance almost where I almost want to say like the fans, I don't know about artists, but the fans and probably some artists like, we've been doing this forever and we've been like really working hard to build that audience. And now everybody just wants to be in. Like you didn't earn your strides, but like, here's the thing, Zed is doing this pop-ups, right, for house music now. Here's the thing, Zed does a house music pop-up. Guess who comes to the show? What do you think? Circle Loca fans come to the shows? Zed's fans. So if Zed is playing house music for Zed's fans, how in the world is this not great for house music and for every house music artist and fan around 100%. The world? Like, so what is this like jealousy or not accepting? Like, I just don't get it.
I completely agree with you. I think some of the back-to-back sets are really great with that too. Cause I, waiting to hear the EDC lineup and I went back and looked at 2020 and I forgot the two back-to-backs. There was a Diplo back-to-back MK, which sounded amazing. And there was a Jaws back-to-back Oliver Heldens, which I'm a huge Heldens fan, but that combination I would have never thought about.
Funny you said Jaws. Cause like, Jaws is not a house music artist, right?
No.
And I don't even know if I would consider Oliver until like all these conversations. Oliver is a fantastic artist, right? But Jaws, when Jaws just blew up, I'll never forget that because, I consider Patrick Topping a friend. And I'll never forget Jaws doing an interview and Jaws said, when I'm relaxing and I like want to get my creative juices flowing, I listen to Patrick Topping. And like when a bass artist like Jaws, this is some years ago, he just blew up, talks about listening to house music for inspirations, it's coming. And this has been years of coming to this point, right? People didn't wake up and said, now we're playing house music because it's cool. That is not what happened. And I think a lot of people think that's what happened, but they just don't know. And this is why we're here telling them,
It's actually, obviously, I just wonder what would have happened if we had events in 2020, because I think, the combination of the live streaming and all of that, people being home listening to more music, but then, we're talking about festivals now. I want to get into ARC's lineup, but also, we're going to see more of these just house music festivals. But I know also EDC announced for the first time a house music stage, which they had never done before. And that was like a big deal. I don't know why they never had a house music specific stage, but I just think we're going to see more of it.
Who is that?
EDC Las Vegas. They always had 8 stages. And then in 2020, they announced we're adding a 9th stage and it's dedicated to house music.
I thought they
So that
usually
should-
had like Factory 93 has a stage, I'm sure,
They have
right?
they have Neon Garden, which was like all techno, but now it's getting its own separate stage, which will be interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, and then you have Arc and Seismic Dance Event is another one.
There's something in Austin that was just announced, huge, 3 days, really proper talent. And what I'm liking is a lot of this less known artists on the bill.
Yep.
Generally see it. Yeah, before you mentioned Factory 93 or EDC, rather, I had something important in my mind. Of course, my ADHD.
No, I hope it comes back. But you see from your point of view, you see festivals booking more and more house talent, right?
Look, guys, like people coming and saying, what's next? David Guetta's going to play house. I mean, like David Guetta was like a house music to begin with, always. You know, Cascade was a house music guy. I mean, I remember we were doing Cascade show in New York as main event, Flow, I think it was called. There's like a 250 people basement kind of room, and we didn't sell them out. And Cascade was playing like proper house music. Like these guys were playing house music. And of course, you know, they've evolved in a different sound, and that sound got really big. But when Cascade brings back, help me out, Redux? No?
Redux, yep.
Redux. I was like, Cascade trying to be cool. No, dude, he's been fucking playing that music forever. You just don't know what you're talking about. Get your facts straight.
Yep.
I'm telling you, the amount of labels like Space Yacht guys, worth mentioning at this point, maybe, no?
Yeah.
And starting, to my understanding, smaller shows in on the West Coast. Dombreski, I think was one of their guys. Vanessa, things like this. You know, I'm not familiar. I gotta have a call with this guy soon to catch up. Yeah. But you know, now the NFTs came out. They blew up. They've launched the label. You know, we had this little brand, Endless, in New York, you know, I don't know how many years ago, 10 years ago, where we were bringing specifically house music DJs that were bigger in Europe and not known in America. And people would come out, we would sell them. It would Reboot, Robert Diaz, you know, a lot of guys.
Right.
It's just, this is a good time to live if you're a house music fan. You will see in North America main stages.
Yep.
With the main stages artists that you have now playing back-to-back sets. You will see the Cascades of the world, so Zeds of the world, or Carnage or whatever, playing proper house music on the main stage, and probably playing back-to-back sets. So Martinez Brothers, back-to-back Carnage, main stage, totally reality. Totally reality. Yeah, you can think I'm delusional. Everybody does. But totally can see that in 2 years.
It's exciting.
Because what happens when all the artists are playing house music? What do you think happens next? You know, and I'm excited. I'm excited how this all connects. There's so many also amazing house music brands, festivals, acts everywhere, like South America, right?
Yep.
Everywhere in Europe. I mean, Eastern Europe is all house now too. You know, like Romanians, they're always known as that's a proper techno underground Romanian house. You know, but Bulgaria, you know, Russia, all the ex-Soviet Union countries, like Sweden, obviously huge, right? How many amazing house music artists from Sweden. Now this is all going to be in a world post-COVID. What happens? Do people travel as much, or do people focus on building more local? Like a lot of stuff that's really exciting.
Yep. I mean, I agree with you on all of that. Should we talk about gray area a little bit and what we're doing with that?
We can if you want to.
It kind of fits in because we're working on a new.
I didn't tell anybody yet.
Oh, okay.
No,
if it's too soon.
Well, look, and I really want to. I know you had some other stuff to talk through, but you know, it's gray area. So a lot of stuff that we talked about now, that is kind of a gray area in a way, where what we mean by that is like people don't understand, is this house music? Is this not house music?
Mm-hmm.
What's a deep house? Like these days, I swear to you, I can't tell you anymore.
Yep.
Like I ask, hey, what do you play? And if I ask an artist, I'll get an answer. If I ask somebody from the industry, like intelligent expert,
Mm-hmm.
deep house, tech house, bass house,
Everything.
melodic tech, like, okay.
Sure.
I just don't, I personally can never answer. Like if you ask
Yeah.
me the style, my answer will be like, he plays like a bass-ish house with a little melodic flavor. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the gray area.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want to do is I want to be able to connect amazing artists from all over the world to the fans that don't know them. It's that simple.
Yep.
And I am planning on doing so. We are planning on doing so by understanding which talent is less known and is positioned to be known much better because they have the credentials, they're releasing great music, they're playing great shows.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are going to connect them with the audiences that we already know.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna like them. Like Emma on her Instagram does a lot of, if you like this guy, you will like this guy. And I mean, why do you think she does it? She got nothing better to do. She does it so you guys can correlate, understand,
Yep.
So we want to take it to really next level and make a platform. We don't know how we're going to make any money at all. We don't know how we're going to pay for it, but we know that intent is clean, and we want to introduce the event brands, the festivals, the artists to the fans that need to know them. Need to know them.
Yep.
Because they will get to love them, they will get to follow them, to listen to their music, and the more artists get to showcase themselves and do shows, the bigger the house music community grows. And ultimately, that's our mission and goal, to build an even bigger and stronger international house music community.
Yeah. And I think for anybody listening, like you obviously have things like Spotify, which is great because it will recommend artists to you. But at the same time, it's like these people, these festivals, like they're out there, they've been doing this, but you just may not know about them yet. And it's like, how can we make that connection, and how can we introduce you to somebody that you will most likely like based on, another artist? So I think it's really like bridging that gap, because there's so many talented artists out there, and this is about house music, but it's going to be a really, really exciting project. And hopefully we can just put that in the forefront and help people. It's going to enrich your life too, because if there are so many events out there that you haven't attended yet, that we'll hopefully have the chance to do soon. I wish I traveled more. I said this so many times. So
I will force you to travel more.
Yep.
I need you to go and come back inspired and understand what the hell I'm talking about all this time.
Well, it's cool because people will follow the journey.
I like that you brought up Spotify. Like, I think let's talk about discovery. Like if somebody wants to discover house music, that's not what they normally see in front of them. What do you do? Like, I can tell you how I listen to music when I work. I usually lean on SoundCloud because SoundCloud will have really amazing sets, recorded sets. And sometimes the artists post it, and sometimes some fans, post it, and or the festivals. Also 1001 Tracklist, I think, because it's crowd sourced, so people put in the tracks. But basically, I listen to the sets. When I hear a track I don't know, I Shazam it. When I Shazam it, I put it in my research Spotify playlist. By the way, I do have a Spotify playlist that I update pretty often. It's called Amakasi 21. It's 21 tracks, and Amakasi because I serve whatever I want. And you're going to listen to it if you want my chef's tasting, right? Sushi style. So I put it on a list, and then I listen to the music, and then I look up the labels, and this way I know who is releasing what. But now just so much music, and obviously there is Discover Weekly. That's not a bad list on Spotify. That's kind of algorithmic. And then there is this release radar on Spotify that's very helpful to me because I do follow a lot of artists and I really want to hear the releases as they come. So that's how I keep myself refreshed, because just too much music, you can't possibly like catch up, right?
Yep.
And by the way, big news just announced like 1 minute ago. I'm sure by the time you guys will hear it, it's not going to be big news, but Carl Cox has just joined Analog, which is a big deal. It's an agency, and will be represented by new people now, especially big news in North America.
Yep.
Big news. Love
Very
Carl.
cool.
What a legend. That's another
seriously.
name. Like Carl Cox has taken so many fans from non-house genres and made them like there are people that I know for a fact came to a festival because they love like Armin van Buuren and somebody from that world, and then listened to Carl Cox and then just fell in love with house, and then from there kind of became a house music fan.
He's awesome.
Carl is a true legend, the nicest guy you'll ever meet, and we all love him.
Yeah, he's so cool. It's going back to Spotify too. So I would say everything you mentioned. I know Friday Crate Diggers is another good dance music playlist. That's just in general, but I'm more from the, I guess, content perspective, like other content creators who do playlists, or even YouTube, just watching sets and then all the, IDs are listed down in the comments. Like I think I was watching a John Summit set and he had many incredible songs in it. And I was just like, add.
There you go.
Yeah.
How much do you know about John Summit? Because I don't know that much. I don't know that much. Here's what I know about John Summit. I think one of his tracks became very TikTok friendly for shufflers, right? I'm not confusing it with anybody, am I?
Deep End is just like
yeah. Okay, there you go. So Deep End, good thing we have each other.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, spoke to some really good friends, promoters who have recently booked John on smaller shows in States. They tell me he's the nicest guy. They tell me he's the hope of American house music scene, like that, in those exact words.
Wow.
And just plays amazing sound with his own little bit of his own style, kind of, I guess.
Totally.
So that, somebody who I had no idea about, I don't know, 11 months ago is now going to be on a pretty high level at the festivals. Like we've seen acts like Medusa just go like, hey, you guys want to book Medusa for Quantum? I'm like, do enough people know Medusa to sell 500 tickets? I'm not sure. 3 weeks later, Medusa is playing for
I had them on my list.
People like this is what's happening. I mean, like obviously Chris Lake, right? It was like, and Chris was great always, right? We used to book him, and I love him. Great guy, great artist. New York transition was like, we had him at Analog, we had him at Output, so like 800 people. The next show he played, he could have already sold 5,000 tickets on his own.
It's crazy.
It's just insane. Like the transition is like this now. Why?
Yep.
The amount of house music fans is significantly larger. That's why we are able in New York to have all these multiple venues and finally sell shows all at the same time. No more than 4 or 5 years ago in New York, somebody had a big house music show and it sold 2,000-3,000 tickets. Everybody else might have as well closed or had an open bar because we didn't have enough people in New York to buy the tickets. True facts, as my kids would say. Like it's crazy. And expect for that growth rate to accelerate. By the way, big shout out to Lee Foss.
Yes.
And Repopulate Mars. This guy is also very slowly making big strides, and Lee seems like a different human as he was once. I mean, he was always a great human, but now like seems very focused, on point.
Yep.
Michael Beebe, Carnage. This is crazy. Yep. Carnage sends me Michael Beebe's profile. I kid you not. I kid you not.
You were introduced?
I kid you not. First time, and I listened to Michael Beebe, and I said, what is wrong with me? Shame on me.
Right.
How do I not know Michael Beebe?
Mm-hmm.
And I
crazy.
listened to his set while I'm driving my kids to school for like a week, a bunch of different sets. And I call everyone I know. I'm like, there goes your next superstar.
Right.
Welcome, Michael Beebe. And in North America, nobody knew him. Promoters didn't know him. Promoters like, who is Michael Beebe? Never even heard of him. I'm like, give it a year or two. He'll be charging you 50 grand.
Yeah.
You know?
That's so crazy. This whole transition, everything. Yeah. John Summit's career has been crazy to watch this past year. He just, even following him on social media, seems to be having the time of his life, which is amazing. But it's just,
I feel like
got
we should
it.
keep going. Throw some names. Come on.
Well, I wanted to ask you about the ARC lineup because, in particular, Eric Prydz is technically on here 3 times. We have Serez D, Eric Prydz, and then he's playing an after party as well. I just wanted to know, your opinion on that and just this lineup in general, because there's some interesting artists on here.
Lineup is really amazing. The guys have curated talent from different worlds. I don't have it in front of me, but Zoo, Bob Moses, Camel Fat, Medusa. We're gonna bring Elro in there. Obviously Cyrus exciting. And Adam going back to back is a huge deal. Luciano, my friend Idris is coming. I don't know how I'm gonna split myself Labor Day weekend, to be honest with you. But a great lineup. But again, we live in a world where Solomon can probably sell 10,000 tables at this point in North America. It's just, Marco Carolla was playing at Space, I think weekly or something. And I know it's reduced capacity, but still anything is possible. Danny Teneglia's 60th birthday, virtual birthday, has attracted 3.5 million viewers. I will repeat, Danny Teneglia's birthday did 3.5 million viewers. They just that.
For him,
3.5 million.
Yep.
What do you think? That was every house music in the world? No, there was probably a couple percent. Everybody else didn't even know what was happening. Look at these numbers and just ask yourself where it's going. Virtual events, honestly, I don't know. I don't know what to think.
It's just exciting.
I don't know what to think. Gordo just did Circle Local Radio. We have welcomed Nora to Elro and were blown away with the sets. It all is starting to finally interconnect and meet, and it's all one. And as you know, Emma, I've been saying this forever. That's what I want to see, because that's going to be good for everyone.
Yep.
And with the international festival, just too many to mention. And this is why we're doing this project. We want to interview organizers of different festivals all around the world so that the listeners understand and pick and go. And we're going to launch the festival discovery platform sooner than later together, but God, Awakenings, Time Warp, Sonus, Boom.
Yep. Take your pick.
The Portuguese guys are crushing Neon Pop, crushing it. In Romania, Sound Waves on the Water, Exit in Serbia, I think, been around for 20 years. The Kazantip guys are doing episodes now in Vietnam, Nikita and that crew. They've been around forever and ever. Kazantip was one of the fucking craziest festivals ever. And the Street Parade in Switzerland, I think they're doing 1.4 million. Shout out to Robin and those guys.
Yeah.
Elro is doing shows in 23 countries, right? And it's all house music. Vegas, Elro Residency Vegas, Art of the Wild Vegas, Black Coffee, selling out world tours from Turkey to Los Angeles. Guys, think about it. It's only going to go bigger. If there was a house music stock, I would sell everything I have because that's really the future.
Yes. I mean, I'm just sitting here like, it's been amazing to watch the growth, but I'm personally just ready to get the fuck out there and go to some shows. I mean, I'm just absolutely dying for a live house set. So that's what I'm excited for, to just finally see these people in person, hear their sets, experience the music. Like that's the next thing. I think we're all ready at this point.
Shout out to Jan at Ushuaia for creating Ants with a vision that had no headliners, just house music and sexy people and great vibes, and for taking and doing an impossible, taking space from Space Ibiza and turning it into, high Ibiza, which is doing fantastic and bringing new residencies and like Black Coffees weekly.
I'm excited for Elro in North America. Super. I think that takeover at ARC is going to be incredible. I'm really excited for that.
Just happy, as you guys can see. Yeah.
And we'll have more artists on at some point too. We're gonna mix it up and get some other people on here. But again, we're always open to feedback. DM us at Festival Insider with suggestions, people you want us to have on, topics you want us to cover, all of that good stuff. This was just something we are more passionate about talking about today. So I'm glad we did this one.
Shout out to Jez for putting together an amazing management company now with All Day Dream and Saga Bedouin and Lee Force, and like really powerhouse over there with Attilio and Chef now. There's just so many people to thank
Blondish,
for doing so much.
Yeah.
For doing so much to get house music the way it is right now. I mean, like Antonio and the Circle Loco crew. I mean, like, honestly, it's the time just flew by. I remember sitting at a little place in Miami called Electric Pickle, I think it was called. And next to me was Solomon wearing like a Speedo's little shorts and telling Steve how he's going to play this show called Sunday School for Degenerates. And I'm like, who are these guys? With like heavy German accent. And it's like the world is so much different,
Yep.
God bless everyone who's contributed. I'm very lucky to have been in the middle of all of it, to see it, because this is an evolution. It really is. And I think I want to look back at this interview, at this podcast episode 2 years from now and kind of say, look, guys, we knew this was it. So love you guys. Follow my Spotify. Look up Michael Julian. I have playlists there. I update them. You'll love the music. Let me share what I like with you. And please write to us, message us, tell me and Emma who to invite to the upcoming episodes of Festival Insider podcast. We're doing it for you. We want to bring the guests you want. We want to have meaningful conversations you are craving. And thank you so much for your time and attention and for listening.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. And if you enjoy the episodes, feel free, send a link to a friend, rate, review, all the good stuff. We're on YouTube too if you want to watch. But we'll be back next Tuesday with a new episode. Thanks for listening, guys.
And if anyone's wondering why I am wearing shades today, then you don't know what house music is. After hours, baby.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, Insiders. Thanks for watching this video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to our channel or feel free to check out our recommended videos. Thanks for watching.